Hello and welcome to this tutorial of sorts. I'm going to do a play-by-play of what I would usually do when I was creating a simple new level in The Last of Us, and I'll walk you through the steps of how I put this together. So the first thing I would usually do is pick an area in the game that has enemies spawned that I could transform and move to another map. One of the easiest ones is the Financial Plaza sniper fight. So the first step would be to open the debug menu in this level and then dump memory allocations, and you would get a printout like this. Next I would take that dump into Notepad and paste it there. Now I have an entire list of everything that's loaded in that scene. So the background listings are the map models themselves. They take up the most RAM. What we need to do is free up enough RAM so that we can load in a new map model, for example, a multiplayer map. So Hun Financial Plaza is the biggest one, so we'll start with that. If we go into Pack 23 and search for ID Hun Financial Plaza, Hun Financial Plaza AI is where the NPCs are held, so we do not remove anything to do with AI. We search instead. We don't need audio. We can keep the collision. We don't need the IGC. We don't need the props, but we're just looking, for example, Financial Plaza here, and we remove the package, remove the cache, and any actors that are there as well. So if I go back to props, this has actors, so we just remove the actors, remove the cache, remove the props. And we do that for every map piece that doesn't look like it is essential for the game to work. So I will just note it down what I have removed. So that is gone. AI stays, so if I need to keep something, I might just put an O there to let me know that I need to keep it there. And that can be still there for now. But yeah, we also got rid of props, so I put an X there. So that's just a simple way of just keeping track of everything. So once the large map files are removed, if I boot in game and the player and the NPCs still spawn, that means I can spawn in another map piece. So the easiest map to use would be from multiplayer, since multiplayer maps are just one file. So I would pick one of the listings that I blanked in Pack 23, and I'll go back to it. You can see there's nothing here. So we take the package strings from Bill's Water Tower multiplayer map, and we place it under the Financial Plaza listing. So now when you load single player and it goes to load Financial Plaza, it'll instead load the multiplayer map. Then when I get in game, I disable visibility and fly over to that map piece and walk around a bit to make sure that nothing gets unloaded, because sometimes you can use a map that doesn't work because it spawns inside another loading zone, so you have to keep that in mind, and you just have to get lucky sometimes. The next step would be to move the spawns around. So for this level, Hun Financial Plaza AI in-game holds the spawn for all the hunters. So if we search for hunter, we can find the hunter data here, and their position data would be at the top of their block all the way up here. So basically what I would do would just go to the spawn data for that multiplayer map, and I would look for deathmatch spawners. So it just says online spawner, team deathmatch, team 1, and up here this block is the position of the spawn. So I would just copy this data and then just give it to the hunters, and I would do that for every single one of them. You can do it more organized, but basically in the early days I would just randomly assign them positions on the map and do the same with the player. Joel's spawn data is in Hun Const in-game 12, although it is not named in a way that you can understand which spawn is which, so I would usually just replace every single entry in this file so eventually I hit the right checkpoint. But other files are actually much easier to tell which Joel spawn is the real one. You can reference my older tutorials that explain more what these files do and how to use them a bit more in depth, but once that's done, you can boot into the game and see the spawns. For example, this is a test with all of them spawning in the same place, and then later you can move them around. And for a final cherry on top, you could even load in Bill's assets and change Joel into Bill, so you can play as Bill in Bill's town and fight some humans, which is not what the game offers you at all. These methods can and most likely will still work with The Last of Us Part 2. They can also work with the PS4 version and Uncharted 4, etc., the Uncharted series as well. So that was the most simple, most straightforward way that I would use to make new levels in The Last of Us in a PS3 game, which when you think about it is really, really crazy, but to me it's just like whatever. I've been doing this for like past 7 years, so it's just so cool that now a lot of people are going to be able to do it too. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.